Hey everyone, you're listening to With Love Lola, where the world isn't just black or white, but beautifully gray. I'm your host Lola, your big sister, your nosy bestie, and the voice in your ear saying what you're thinking but might not say out loud. Each week we dive into stories from the internet and our listeners, full of love, betrayal, laughter, and the messy in between. And I give you my honest 2 cents, no sugarcoating. So grab your tea, take a deep breath, and let's get into it. With love, Lola. So today's first story is, am I wrong for ruining my sister-in-law's birthday by crying? I, 43 male, am an advanced paramedic in critical care. This means I'm trained to treat very serious injury and illness, and also work in my service's emergency operations center to monitor emergency calls and dispatch to other APCCs. Because it's a high-stress job and my shifts can easily overrun, I usually only commit to social events on my day offs. Recently, my sister-in-law, 40 female, booked a meal at a nice restaurant to celebrate her birthday. I initially told my partner, 44 male, I couldn't go as I had a 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. shift that day. However, he really wanted me to go. So I got my shift changed from ambulance crew to EOC, thinking it would decrease the chance of being too late or too drained to go. The shift was awful. My country's healthcare system is extremely overburdened, and I had to make a lot of difficult decisions prioritizing calls. Near the end of my shift, I had to input on a complex, distressing call, which took almost 2 hours. I left work 90 minutes late and got to the restaurant about 20 minutes late, in uniform and very tired. Wait, before we go on, I want to Google what the heck some of these words mean. So he said, I got shift change from ambulance crew to EOC. EOC is Emergency Operations Center. And then what was the last thing he said? Oh, what was it? APCCs. Whatever the heck that means. APCC. Oh, I can't say this. And a prospector and craniocadal directions. Oh my God, I don't know. Anyways, when I arrived, sister-in-law sarcastically said it was nice of me to finally show up and to make such an effort with my clothes. I apologized, saying I had a call that overran. My partner asked about the call, and I said I didn't want to discuss it as it was upsetting and probably inappropriate for sister-in-law's daughter, 8 female, to hear. Brother-in-law, 38 male, said it was just a call and I wasn't actually there. So if I'm going to use it as an excuse to disrespect his wife, I should tell them what happened. Ew, I don't like these people. What the heck? Do they not understand the nature of your job and what you're doing? Like, it's given that you're going to be late sometimes and not show up. Like, you're saving lives. Hello? Ugh. I said it wasn't an excuse. I couldn't just hang up emergency calls when I felt like it. And sister-in-law said I shouldn't have taken the call when I knew I had to leave. I said I was the only AP on duty, so what was I supposed to do? Make a junior dispatcher do my job for me? Sister-in-law said not everything was about me or how important my special job is, especially not her birthday. Right. These are adults, grown adults speaking like this.
Oh my God, you didn't come to my birthday party on time because you were busy saving lives at work. How dare you?
Like, that's literally what it sounds like right now. Oh my gosh, you're just relax. Your birthday is not that important anymore. I was honestly so overwhelmed I started crying. Although I know it was probably an overreaction, I was also really embarrassed as I don't cry in front of others. So I went to the toilet to calm down. My partner came to check on me and I said I just wanted to go home. He said it was fine. He explained to sister-in-law and brother-in-law, so I left. When he got home later, he said sister-in-law and brother-in-law were furious that I ruined the meal by making it about me, as they felt I should have made sure I was on time and out of uniform, or at least been more understanding about why sister-in-law was upset. I said sister-in-law made it about me by being rude over a 20-minute delay when I was clearly exhausted. And he said I couldn't expect others to manage my stress for me when I chose a high-stress job. I said I was managing my stress when I said I couldn't go. And he said he also had a stressful job and still doesn't use it as an excuse to flake on his family. He wants me to apologize to sister-in-law, and I'm still hurt over the situation. However, I feel really bad for ruining the meal, and I'm worried I did overreact and make everybody cater to my emotions. So, am I the asshole? No, absolutely not. I'm shocked that your partner thinks you should apologize to her. They're mean people. They don't like you. I'm sorry, they do not like you. I'm just like picturing this in my mind, right? Let's say if I knew my sister-in-law and brother-in-law worked at such a high intensity job, I would be so happy that they even came to my dinner, regardless of how late they came. I'd be like, thank you so much. I know you have such a busy schedule. You must be exhausted. Like, please just enjoy your dinner, enjoy your drinks, just have a good time. Like, I'm really happy you came. That's the attitude I would have in mind. But the 20 minutes is not bad. Honestly, not bad at all. I'm like, on Afghan time, that's still pretty early because most people come like an hour and a half late, which is not okay. But still, you still came and you showed up. Like, I'd I'd be so happy if someone I cared about still made the effort to come see me on my birthday, even though they had the day that they had. Do you know what I mean? Your partner's not nice to you either. What the heck? And for you to ruin her birthday dinner, it's a birthday dinner. It's not her wedding. It's not like her childbirth. It's a birthday dinner. She'll be fine. She'll have another one. Am I wrong for telling a friend exactly why my wife and I wouldn't go on a trip with her? My wife and I, both 32, both female, have a friend named Anna, 33 female. Anna is so sweet, very funny. It can also be very naive. While this isn't always a bad thing, she is at times ignorant of how the world works and news, etc. Anna has family that owns a large vacation property in another country. She's long wanted to take a friend's trip there and is finally planning on doing so. Multiple people have been invited, and this past weekend when she and I got coffee, my wife and I were invited. The problem is, homosexuality is criminalized in this country. In case you missed it, I am a woman married to a woman, and I would not feel safe traveling there. I would especially be worried about my wife. She has a very classic butch. What's a butch? I don't know what's a butch. She has a very classic butch look, whereas I am more feminine. Okay, I get what it means now. I'm still gonna Google it because I want to confirm, I don't want to assume. Okay, a stereotype of the butch is a masculine lesbian and is probably the most common stereotype associated with queer women. I know a lot of times these laws would pertain more towards gay men, but still, we would not feel safe and that's what matters. I told Anna no, I'm sorry, but my wife and I would not be able to travel there. Well, she pressed why, and I said, because we're gay. That country criminalizes gay people. She just said, oh, and kind of awkwardly changed the topic. Later though, I got a text. She said she felt I embarrassed her for not knowing, and while she didn't know, it's not like she's homophobic or anything. Just that she wants to go on a trip there, and why did I have to be so blunt about it? I'm really frustrated, and also I feel bad. I'm not sure why. I guess I could have made an excuse. That airfare is pricey right now, or we had something else planned out, but my wife is saying I didn't do anything wrong. I don't know. So am I the asshole? She has an edit and she goes, I forgot to add, but I didn't want to include which country because I felt it was wrong. The government makes these choices, and I would feel bad putting the blame on a whole country that certainly has an LGBTQ population, hidden or not. It's in the Middle East, and that's all I'll say. Yeah, I was pretty given. I knew for sure it wasn't a Muslim country. But no, there's nothing wrong with being blunt about it and saying, hey, I appreciate the invite, but because of how I live my life and over there, they count it as a crime to the way I don't feel comfortable going. Even if nothing were to have happened to you guys, if you were to go because you're a tourist, you don't want to go, you don't want to go. It's as simple as that. No is a full sentence. I say it all the time. It's my favorite word. What's my favorite word? It's no. It's no. Everyone in my house knows it's no. If I don't want to do anything, regardless of the reason, you don't have to. You don't want anyone an explanation for anything. And you gave it to her. You said, hey, I appreciate it, but my wife and I don't want to go. Okay. Thank you. Bye. Am I wrong for cutting my friend off for breaking up with her sick fiance? I, 20 female, recently cut off a friend, Reagan, 26 female, for breaking up with her fiance when he found out he was diagnosed with cancer. To make it clear, it sucks that he's going through something like that, but I also know Reagan's allowed to have preferences or limits in a relationship. From my understanding, she was really happy with him, and after a slew of really bad relationships, he was great to her. So obviously I was surprised when she told me she wasn't speaking with him anymore, and she'd broken off their engagement. I asked why, and she told me he had cancer and she didn't want to deal with that. Firstly, how is anyone's first reaction to break up when finding out the man that they're gonna marry is sick? He's in a vulnerable position, and he's helped you through so much over the past few years, and you didn't think about any of that when you broke it off? Obviously, I told her I think she should reconsider. I was diagnosed with a rare disease when I was a teenager, and it would break my heart if my significant other left me solely because of something I have zero control over. She basically told me I was projecting because I'm basically in the same boat as him, and told me I was being selfish and only thinking about my emotions and not about hers. Her justification was that she needed to think about her future, and she didn't want to tie herself down to someone and have to deal with his sickness for the rest of her life. I get the sentiment, sort of, but she basically just implied that if you're sick, you're not entitled to being loved unconditionally. I haven't spoken to her since, and I sent her boyfriend a card and let him know that if he ever needs to talk about navigating the diagnosis, I'd be here. She reached out to apologize, but honestly, I don't want to hear it. Not only did she leave a wonderful guy when he was in a vulnerable position, but she basically told me that I shouldn't expect people to love me or stick around because I'm also sick. I would assume, right, if you're head over heels and you're in love with this person's your fiance, you're gonna marry him. That's why they say in sickness and in health. I don't think you're the asshole at all for expressing your frustration with her, but I think this was good for the guy because it showed her true colors now. I'd rather her leave him now before he got married, had the big lavish wedding, and then when shit hit the fan, she's like, ooh, I didn't sign up for this. She was not going to take her vows seriously. They say like when people show you who they are, believe them. And she's shown that she's selfish and heartless. But I'm curious, for anyone who kind of agrees with her walking away, like, do you guys think ever it's okay to walk away from someone you love because of something like that? That's not under control, but they were diagnosed with like, you know, cancer, ALS or Parkinson's or something like that, right? Do you leave them and say, hey, I didn't sign up for this? Do you find like that morally right that you should put yourself first in that aspect? Or do you suck it up and stick it out because you love that person? I was warned not to marry my girlfriend by her best friend. What now? I, 29 male, have been with my girlfriend, 28 female, for 3 years, and I've been planning to propose in the next couple of months. Recently, we had a group of her friends over, and I decided to share my plans with one of her best friends. For context, her best friend is a gay man who's been in a committed relationship for 8 years. Their relationship seems stable, and while they're not married, they treat it as if they are. He's also very blunt. He tends to speak his mind even when it causes tension, and he's not great at sugarcoating things to avoid awkwardness. So when I told him about my plan to propose, he looked at me a bit uncomfortable and he said, "Good luck," while glancing around like he wanted to leave. His reaction surprised me, so I asked if he had any tips or if there was something he wanted to get off his chest about me. He said he actually likes me and enjoys spending time with me, which made the situation more confusing. I asked him directly what was bothering him, thinking I could handle whatever he said. That's when he told me he had concerns, not about me, but about my girlfriend. According to him, she has a pattern of being emotionally distant in relationships. He said she's dated people more for convenience than genuine affection, and that she only ever seemed truly excited about one guy in the past. Her excitement then was as simple as being eager to text him back or lighting up when he messaged her. He also pointed out that she still talks about her exes a lot, even though she doesn't keep in touch with them. I've noticed this too. She'll bring up old conversation with exes and talk about them in surprising detail. He also mentioned that she hasn't been single for more than a year since before high school. While he admitted that might be hypocritical since he's been with his boyfriend since high school, he said he believes she sometimes confuses romantic relationships with emotional support systems. That hit home for me because during our first year together, I actually wondered if she was in love with him. I eventually dropped that thought after spending more time around him and realizing how committed he is to his boyfriend, and quite frankly, he is very gay. But the behaviors that raised my suspicions, her emotional dependence on him, only stopped after he established stronger boundaries. I remember a year into our relationship, my girlfriend got upset that he stopped coming over to confront her after his boyfriend moved in full time. They had an argument and he apparently admitted that her lack of boundaries was part of the reason he pulled back. Sometimes she would even sleep over at his place, which always struck me as odd. Those were the kinds of things I thought I should be doing as her partner. What surprised me is that she's never been overly clingy with me. If anything, she's independent and sometimes distant. But with him, she had a strong emotional reliance. What started as me sharing exciting news turned into a conversation that left me feeling uncertain. I love my girlfriend, but her friend made some valid points that are now weighing on me. His comments echoed some things I had noticed but hadn't fully processed. Now I'm left wondering, why would he bring all this up? Was he trying to protect me, or was this crossing a line? Do I talk to my girlfriend about this? If I do, and she finds out what he said, what does that mean for their friendship? Or for mine with her? Does she have a right to know that her friend shared this with me? But here's the thing. If one of my best friends' man wanted to propose to her, if I had concerns about it, I'm trying to think if I would speak up and say, hey, she's not ready yet. But I think what he did, right, as her best friend, he did you a solid because he got the gears turning in your mind and a lot of it made sense to you. You're able to resonate with what he said, like, oh, you know what? I did find that weird, but you never spoke up about it. He's just letting you know, like, hey, just be aware that this is kind of how she is right now. You either can have that conversation with her to address your concerns. I don't think you should ever bring it up that her best friend said it. There's no need. It's just you asked him about his opinion about you proposing to her and he gave it to you, right? There's no need for you to try to jeopardize their friendship. I think he's a good friend by letting you know he likes you, right? Like, hey, I think you're a good guy. So just be aware that this is what comes with being with my best friend. And you guys have to have a conversation. And, you know, those things that kind of stuck out to you, that she's not clingy or she's staying over her best friend's house instead of with you, really think it out, right? And then if you're okay with all of it and it doesn't bother you, then yeah, go ahead and get married. Like, there's no problem. It's good that you think about these things. You're not just head over heels in love with someone and just in la la land. Marriage is hard. Anyone who ever says marriage is like eternal bliss is lying to you. Marriage will have its ups and downs, okay? Don't get me wrong. It's probably a very fun and great thing, but it's a lot of work. And so it's good to have these conversations early on. So when you're married and you have kids together and you're in a house, you're like, oh, I didn't really know. But it's good. You have to think about every single aspect of what your future life is going to look like. Am I wrong for being upset that my wife broke our bed because of her weight? Ugh. My 32 male wife, a 30 female, and I have been married for 4 years, together for 7. When we met, she was very active and healthy. She used to run races, meal prep, and was generally full of energy. I admired her for her discipline and drive. Over the last couple of years, after her father died, she has completely changed her lifestyle. She eats fast food almost daily, sometimes more than once a day. When I suggest we cook at home or maybe try to eat healthier together, she laughs it off and says she's too tired. I have never pressured her or called her names. I've only tried to suggest healthier options and support her without being judgmental. As a result, she has gained a lot of weight. She also complains constantly about back pain, knee pain, and feeling exhausted. I've offered to meal prep with her, take walks together, even start fun challenges to get motivated. Every time, she either ignores it or accuses me of being shallow. Last week, something happened that I feel made it impossible to ignore anymore. We were in bed watching TV, and when she shifted her weight to get up, the bed frame cracked loudly and one of the support beams completely snapped. The bed basically collapsed under us. She was embarrassed but tried to laugh it off, blaming it on the bed being old. The thing is, the bed was barely 2 years old and had a weight limit we were nowhere near exceeding when we first bought it. It was a sturdy bed. I did not say anything in the moment because I knew she was humiliated. I helped her up and we slept on the mattress on the floor that night. The next day, I suggested again that maybe it was time we started focusing on being healthier, for both our sakes. She immediately blew up at me, accusing me of fat shaming and being cruel. She said the bed breaking had nothing to do with her and that I was just looking for an excuse to make her feel bad. Now she will barely speak to me. She even told her friends I body shamed her because the bed broke, and they have been messaging me calling me an asshole. For the record, I love my wife. I want her to be healthy and happy. But it feels like I'm being forced to ignore a very real problem just to spare her feelings. Okay, 2 things I didn't like. When you have like that pillow talk with your wife, like I would consider that pillow talk. Like the bed broke, like that's really humiliating for her. I hate when people go to their friends and be like, oh my God, guys, my husband did this, this, and this. And then they have the audacity to call you. I wish my husband's friends would try to give me shit about something that happened between us. You have no right to do that at all. I hate that. So that's bad on her and bad on her friends. A good friend would be like, hey babe, maybe he's doing it for your good and you should take it not as an insult, but as an eye-opening experience. Be like, okay, I need to get healthier instead of just automatically taking her side and just attacking her. Those are bad friends when you enable bad behavior. And then you don't really talk about her health problems, but it's only downhill from here. The bigger you get, the bigger your problems become. Diabetes becomes inevitable. The bed breaking is just one thing. Traveling is going to be hard. Wanting her to be healthy is not a bad thing. And you should be able to express that to your partner. And it sounds like you didn't do it in a rude way, but in a concerned way. I think she's just in denial, to be honest. It's hard to admit that, oh shoot, I'm really unhealthy. And if I don't change my ways, it's going to be downhill. That person has to come to their own awakening before they decide to lose weight. All right, you guys, it's time for the final story of today's episode. And this is a viewer submission and they posted it directly to my Reddit page WithLoveLola. So if you have a story that you want me to read or check out, please feel free to post it on there. This is titled, Am I Wrong for Distancing Myself from My Family Because of My Sister? Hi Lola, I've been struggling with what to do and I'm unable to get honest, unbiased opinions from anyone in my life as everyone I know has some sort of personal connection to the situation. I have a pretty large blended family with lots of siblings. From the time I was 10 years old, my older sister, we will call her Amy, has been, for lack of a better term, a shit show. She started drinking alcohol at a young age, sneaking out, running off with boys, etc. She was so bad as a teenager that before long, she had multiple MIPs, minor in possession of alcohol, DUIs, and had totaled multiple cars. For as long as I can remember, every year, we as a family are constantly shifting from one Amy disaster to the next. She eventually got pregnant with a guy she had been dating for a short period of time, and from there had more children with him, all of whom I have a wonderful relationship with and love dearly. However, the Amy chaos has never stopped even after she had kids. Every time Amy messes up, everyone in my family, including myself, jumps in to help and fix things for her. I can't even begin to describe the amount of money, time, resources, etc. that has been thrown her way. Amy and her boyfriend get drunk and trash the rental house, resulting in eviction. We all jump in and find her a new place and pay for moving costs. She trashes all of her furniture. Someone gives her theirs or buys her new stuff. Overall, our family, whether it was all of us or a few of us at a time, has helped bail her out of just about every kind of terrible situation you can think of. Eventually, her and the father of her children split up. She moved out on her own for the first time ever as an adult. Amy really started to spiral at this point. She was drunk 24/7, doing coke most days, was keeping questionable company. Fast forward to present day. Since the time I have watched Amy become a full-blown alcoholic, she has consistently put her children in dangerous situations. She has been hospitalized multiple times, the cause of which is her alcohol consumption. She has permanent, irreversible damage to her body. They have been clear she has to stop, but she won't. She insists she is not an alcoholic. This brings me to my current dilemma. You would think that after a lifetime of all of this, we would all be on the same page, right? Wrong. I happen to be one of the few people Amy will talk to and confide in. We have had many conversations about her children and changes she needs to make, but she continues to change nothing. I have reached what I feel is my breaking point. I've had several family members yelling at me, upset with me, stating that I need to get her to change, and because she talks to me, it's on me to get her to make better choices. I don't feel like that's a fair expectation of me because whenever I have tried to stand my ground in the past, I get zero support from the rest of the family. I know the lack of support is because Amy always threatens to take away access to the kids, and nobody, including myself, wants that. But if she never has to suffer the consequences of her actions, she'll never learn. My family disagrees and thinks she just needs more help. I wish they would focus more on making sure that the children are okay than they do on Amy herself. I love my sister, but her children didn't choose this. She actively is. Lola, I don't think I have anything left to give. I feel like I have devoted years of my life to Amy's crisis management, and to keep it plain and simple, I just don't want to anymore. I love her children and I want them to be okay, but I just don't think I can continue devoting my life to managing Amy's. My family is very critical of the fact that I'm able to maintain a relationship with Amy in between crises, and I said I am part of the problem and need to set her straight, often alienating me from conversations, gatherings, etc. because they disapprove. It's because I keep in contact with her that we are even aware of her hospitalization among other situations. Yet none of them are willing to back me up when I try to encourage change for Amy. Then when things get bad and they can all see that something needs to be done, they all turn to me to make it happen, and I cannot do it alone. I have been labeled as a bad influence to other younger siblings at times, told that I should not consume alcohol at family gatherings to encourage her to make better choices even though every other person there is also drinking, and was even told that maybe I shouldn't celebrate my 30th birthday this year as it would be difficult for Amy to not partake in the party festivities. My solution is that Amy acknowledges that she has a problem, she won't make changes anyway, so maybe she should not attend things like birthday parties. And if no one in the family is willing to have a tough conversation required to help get Amy on a better path, then what difference can I really make alone? I also feel that the expectations cannot only be put on me. Why should I change my behavior if everyone else isn't going to? I know Amy needs help and I want to see her make the changes she needs to and support her through that. I just don't think that should fall on me. I've lived my entire life according to Amy and whatever chaotic mess she's gotten herself into. I just don't want to do it anymore. So I've been putting distance between myself and my family as a whole. The sad thing is, no one has noticed my absence except for the fact that Amy has been affected and that they are upset. I am not entertaining several hour-long phone conversations per week anymore, or driving up there to check in on her. It hurts to know that it's not me or who I am that is missed. It's my management of Amy. Yet, I still feel guilty. Like it's my responsibility to manage it all, check in on the kids, and make sure everyone is okay. So, am I in the wrong for putting distance between myself and my family because I just can't deal with the Amy drama anymore? How do I cope with the guilt of feeling like I'm abandoning her children? Please help. I need advice from someone who isn't connected to all of this. Oh my gosh. I need a minute to... First of all, I want to thank you for reaching out to me and thank you for trusting me to get your story out and trusting me for something this heavy. The first thing, like when you were going over your story, I immediately thought that a lot of this is happening because they want to care for your sister's kids, and it's probably a majority of it. But I'm also a big fan of you have to let people fall, and it's really difficult for parents to do that to their own kids. I've seen it in my own life where so many people where their kids will do wrong, and I'm always like, hey, like you gotta let them fall. You can't always be there to catch them because that's not real life. They have to be able to see their mistakes and their wrongdoings and get back up and be like, you know what, I need to change. There's no motive for her to change right now. She knows that whatever happens in her life, you guys will be there to support her, good and bad, right? And more emphasis on the bad. So what's her incentive to change? She gets to live that lifestyle because you guys allow her to. And it sucks because I can tell you've been carrying the weight of an entire family's dysfunction for years, and you're still asking for how to protect the kids and all of this. And that alone like tells me everything I need to know about the kind of person you are, you know, compassionate, responsible, and deeply loyal. You're not selfish. I'll tell you that. You are not being selfish. You're tired. And understandably so. Anyone would be in your situation. I think the truth that you need to hear, you are not wrong for stepping away. You are not wrong for setting boundaries. And you are not wrong for protecting your peace. Let's get one thing straight. You did not cause this. You cannot fix this. Your sister's addiction is a disease, and no amount of love, conversation, sacrifice, or like celebration canceling on your part can heal that. If it could, she would have changed by now because you've given her everything. What's happening here is the classic scapegoating. The family can't change Amy, so they're turning to the person who tries, who knows her best, who still keeps the door cracked open, which is you. And they decided it's easier to blame you for her actions and her chaos than to face the truth that Amy doesn't want to change. Well, not yet. And it's not fair that you have been doing what all of them, the grown-ups in your life, should be doing, trying to balance compassion for Amy with accountability for her actions. And you've been doing it alone. That's not fair. I hate that. It's not fair. It's not sustainable, and you are reaching your breaking point. There's only so much a human can withstand, sister or not. It just sounds like they're using you. And I hate when this happens in situations. I love my sister. I love her children. From the bottom of my heart, I love those kids and I love her. But it comes to a point where if she's living a life that I don't approve of, and it's not my responsibility, right? That's my mom and dad's job. I will try my best, but if I see that my efforts are futile and I'm not getting the support I need and I'm burning out, I can't. You have to put yourself first after you've done so many years of putting your sister first. And then the kids, right? Like, they're innocent. We all know they're innocent. They deserve better. As hard as it is to hear, because I am an aunt as well, you didn't bring them into this world. You didn't choose their mother or the situation, and burning yourself out won't protect them. It will just make you another casualty of Amy's addiction. If this was me, honestly, and I'm concerned about their well-being and their safety, I would consider involving child services or seeking guardianship. You know, I would hate, it sounds like Amy uses her kids to her leverage, and I would be like, you know what, I'm going to take them away from you until you get your shit together. My advice to you right now, keep the healthy distance. Stop trying to justify it. Redirect your energy towards yourself, your healing, your growth, your peace, your joy. And then if you want to keep her kids in your life, which I probably assume you do, set boundaries that let you show up for them without showing up for the chaos. You know, birthday gift, take them out for their birthday, a phone call, do a lunch once a week, just take them out from your sister. Stay away from the crisis management. And then honestly, for this, I would recommend therapy if it's accessible to you. I think there's a lot of deep-rooted trauma that you probably didn't want to share why all of this is happening. I think it would help you untangle all of that of being the family's fixer. I can relate to that a lot, being the family's fixer, because I've been in situations like that. I just want to say you're not embedding anyone. You're saving yourself. Despite what your family might say, it is not only okay for you to walk away, it's necessary. Everything else goes well for you. But thank you so much for reaching out and let us know if anything else happens from this. Appreciate you. Thank you. Phew. All right, you guys, that's a wrap on today's episode. If you laughed, cried, or side-eyed along the way, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share the love. Have a story you want to hear on the show? Send it in. This space is for all the messy, complicated, beautiful, gray areas of life. Until then, be kind, stay curious, and as always, with love, Lola. Bye.